I watched the movie Damsel.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Damsel on Netflix. What? You're laughing?
I watched that with my 15-year-old son.
Oh,
which
okay.
Then had a running commentary through the entire thing.
Oh, I mean, that does seem to track. I would assume that he would have a running commentary.
Yeah.
I watched it alone, so I didn't get to comment to anybody.
So it is a Netflix movie
starring Millie Bobby Brown
from Stranger Things.
And she is a princess. We kind of joked about it last time because you had watched it. I hadn't watched it yet. And I had said, oh, it looks like it's a pivot on a fairy tale, which it kind of is, but it's really, what was that Dragon Slayer movie in the 80s?
I wasn't alive yet.
What? Shut up. Does anybody remember this at all? Look it up.
1981 Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Who was in it?
I don't even know what this movie is.
What does it say?
1981's Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
You nailed it.
Wait, but who was in it?
I want to say it was the guy from Greatest American Hero with like the curly blonde hair.
Peter McNichol?
Yes.
Not from Greatest American Hero, from Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal.
And Sophie's Choice.
And Sophie's Choice.
Ghostbusters 2. Super relevant references, by the way.
And Numbers.
And Numbers. Okay.
Yeah. That's not Greatest American Hero. You're insane. Peter McNichol is our favorite. He's a scientist.
He's a scientist.
Well, no, he's an art historian. I'm sorry. That's more accurate.
Okay.
Here you go.
I don't think I saw this.
I don't think this is a spoiler because just from the trailers you can tell.
A movie from the 1980s? No.
No. Well,
I know. Okay, so it's a pivot from Dragon Slayer from 1981.
100%. Because if I'm remembering correctly, which, hopefully I am.
This is helpful. Please continue.
Nailing it.
The premise of that movie is there's a dragon and you have to give it ladies to eat or whatever.
Oh, you do a sacrifice.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's that story. Yeah. Only they've really done a good job of making it much more sort of parallel, socially relevant to women's rights. And so, no, you didn't
Well,
agree?
yes, but I mean, this is, so Millie Bobby Brown and her younger sister, you have to be married off, right?
Yeah, they're not princesses or anything in this current situation.
Her dad's a lord.
Okay, so they are royalty-esque.
Right. And
But their land is doing terrible.
Their land's doing terrible, so the dad basically needs to sell the daughter to get a dowry or something that's of value. And, I love gumption. I love the idea that she's just like, I don't want to be married to anybody. How dare you? And you're like, now that if you've watched the History Channel, if you've read some historical novels, you're like, you would have zero say.
Yeah.
That is the greatest fictional part of this entire fucking thing. Forget the dragons, forget anything else, that you as a woman think you could be like, I don't think so. I find my own way. Don't marry me off. You're like,
that's more fictional than a dragon, that the woman would have any say. I love that. Okay,
It's basically sadly true.
My land is doing bad. I'm going to sell my daughter. Sells daughter immediately. That's how that goes back then. There's no
what was a commodity?
Nope. Bye.
And the dad and the stepmother played beautifully by Angela Bassett. So Lady Bayford.
Yes, she's the stepmother, and I love that they just call her stepmother. Stepmother.
Well, because they are really annoyed by her, too. I mean, there was some...
Even though she was delightful. I mean, and kind to them. As, the trope typically is that the stepmother is a real jerk. She was actually, looking out for these two stepdaughters.
But the dad thinks he's made a good match with this Prince Henry. And although the Queen Isabella, played by Robin Wright, but she can play an icy bitch.
Yeah.
The dad thinks he's made a good match, but the stepmother's instinct was like,
ooh, I don't like this.
I don't think this is good.
Yeah, I mean, Robin Wright was, as you say, an icy bitch. And she did a real good job. And boy, Angela Bassett's character was like, I don't think this lady is good.
No.
Yeah, no, she
And
nailed
Millie
it.
Bobby Brown plays the Princess Elodie. She went from I refuse to be being married, and then one walk in the garden with some barbs back and forth with Prince Henry. She feels she's got this nailed down. So stepmother, don't worry. I've got this handled.
Well, at one point before she even meets the prince, that moment where she's like, oh, I guess I have to do this for my people, which was really sort of selfless of her. Not that she
selfless.
Had
you have no choice.
Of course.
And it's a sacrifice. Hence the entire theme of this movie. So, when there's a dragon who's just up in their lair looking down at the village being pissed, you got to throw a virgin up there every once in a while to appease them.
Well, kind of. That was kind of the
kicking
premise.
or dragging. You got to give it up.
Kicking. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But my main issue with it was, and I don't think this is anything against Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's extremely talented.
Yeah.
But the whole time she was in pain and like struggling and trying to get away from this dragon, she was making way too much noise. I mean, there was a lot of it was
Lord.
crazy. It was like the whole idea of like the dragon is looking for you. And she's like, ow,
Tiptoe.
ee, ooh, ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. You're climbing. It's like, no, shh.
And of course, I always have to do the close up of the dragon's eye opening, like, I hear something. But duh, shit, she's so loud. Of course you heard
Yeah.
it.
I do love the woman who voiced the dragon. She was in the movie House of Sand and Fog, like way back in the, I forget when. But
That's a
she's-
real Debbie
yeah.
the Downer. If you want to get added depression on your life, that is with
But
Jennifer
she's-
Connelly.
Yeah, she's fantastic and pops up everywhere. And so,
And she does a lot of
Yeah.
voice work. She was in Arcane because her voice is very like gravelly.
yeah, it's great. It's distinctive. So as soon as the dragon started talking, I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah, she was great, I thought. I thought the dragon was interesting, and then where they went story-wise with the dragon.
The dragon has a backstory. I mean, the dragon's
Which is
just
nice.
They don't get pissed off for no reason. We as humans probably did something. Hello. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy the actual reason why. Because the title of the movie is Damsel, like damsel in distress, but not Billy Bobby's character. You can't knock her down or throw her down a
No.
well of 200 feet. She's going to survive.
She's going to bounce.
She's going to bounce
In
back.
her big dress.
Yes, that actually helped. You know?
Parachute.
Yes.
Almost. That probably would have been more
I will
helpful,
say this:
but yeah.
if you have, I think it'd be a great movie for our sister with her two daughters who are like 13 and 9. This is not adult watching, in my opinion.
I think that's a good.
And my teenage son was all the sort of plot problems he loved to point out and be like, oh God. So
My one question plot wise was supposedly this kingdom is incredibly, incredibly rich. Where was all that coming from? Because they made, I mean, I don't have to give too much away, but they were appeasing this dragon. And a lot of times you feel like, oh, the dragon like somehow is giving you gold or you're
sitting on a huge thing of gold.
But that was not exactly it. But anyway, they were,
well, they were the evil empire.
Yeah.
That really were suppressing people and young brides. So
quite a lot of them.
yeah. It's that timeline did not make total sense to me. It's like there's a lot of, to be totally crass, corpses down there.
Yeah.
So you're
well,
like,
they did say it was like 3 every generation. And I was like, every generation?
and there's a reason why it's 3 young brides.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked the end when we're talking about the dragon's backstory and sort of where that story went. I liked that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it has some flaws, but Billy Bobby Brown commits to it. She's enjoyable.
Yeah.
The acting is, you're talking about a lot of really high caliber actors in it. And the plot is enjoyable enough. And I think it's just sort of an age thing, like what's appropriate. I would not recommend this to like you two guys. No.
Yeah, no. I will say, though, it was picture book beautiful. Wherever they shot it / combination with AI, it looked amazing. You didn't think so? I
did, but I thought some of the sets felt a little like, this looks a little janky. I don't know.
Well, I think the landscapes
those
looked
are fun.
amazing, and the exterior of the castle looked pretty amazing.
I am talking about the courtyard scene that with the almost like faux looking flowers like that.
The flowers did look fake. The flowers did not.
Well, listen, they should have been fake. You know why? Because they knew this wedding was a sham. So why spend the budget? There's no reception. There's nothing. She's going to get thrown right the hell over,
Yeah.
And there's a trick they play on the dragon, the evil royal family that all comes out too because Billy Bobby, Millie Brown, Buster. There's a shoe. Most of you probably don't know there was a shoe company when we were growing up called Buster Brown. So I just incorporated it all together right there. So I do think, but she's so smart. She ain't no damsel in distress. She's just a damsel.
No, and she figures it out.
Yeah, very smart.